Yo, what is up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And if you are new here, I need you to hit that subscribe button right now because what I am about to tell you today is not something you're going to hear anywhere else. And trust me, you do not want to miss a single second of this. Because today we are talking about one of the most disrespectful, most reckless, most straight-up unhinged moments to ever hit the Chicago rap scene in recent memory. And that is saying a lot. Lil Tim, yeah, that Lil Tim. The same man who has been walking around like he is untouchable, like the streets forgot, like a block just moved on and let it go. This man went on Instagram Live, looked directly into that camera, and said something so wild, so out of pocket, so absolutely bold that within 24 hours the entire internet was on fire. We are talking about Block members calling him out by name. We are talking about Big Mike going completely off. We are talking about fans flooding the comments, old wounds being ripped wide open, and the ghost of King Von hovering over every single second of this drama. Lil Tim thought he was slick. He thought he could log on, say what he said, and just walk away clean. He was wrong. Block does not forget. Block does not forgive. And Block just fired back in a way that nobody saw coming. Stay locked in. This is about to get very, very real. Alright, so let me take you back to where this whole thing started. Because to understand why Block is this heated right now, you gotta understand the full picture. You cannot just jump into the fire without knowing what poured the gasoline. So sit down, pay attention, because this story goes deep. It is 2025. The Chicago rap scene has been relatively quiet, at least on the surface. Old beefs are simmering, but nobody is publicly poking the bear. Lil Tim has been out here trying to build a rap career, dropping snippets, getting on Instagram Live here and there, acting like he is just another rapper trying to make moves. He has been out here laughing, joking, posting like everything is normal. Like the past does not exist. Like November 6th, 2020 never happened. But the streets remember. Block remembers. And the internet? The internet never forgets. Now here is where things start to shift. Chief Keef, Sosa himself, the godfather of Chicago drill, one of the most legendary figures to ever come out of that city, drops a brand new collaboration with none other than NBA YoungBoy. The song is called Rooms. And on the surface, to an outsider, it looks like just another banger. Two of the biggest names in rap linking up. What is the problem? The problem is everything. The problem is context. The problem is that in the world of Chicago street politics and rap beef, who you associate with means something. It is not just music. It has never been just music. And the moment Chief Keef put his stamp on a record with NBA YoungBoy, Block and OTF members went absolutely crazy. Why? Because NBA YoungBoy is directly connected to Quando Rondo. And Quando Rondo is the man whose beef with King Von led to that deadly night in Atlanta. And the man who pulled the trigger that ended King Von's life, the man standing next to Quando Rondo that night, was Lil Tim. Timothy Leaks. The same man who is now out here rapping and smiling on Instagram like he built his career on something legitimate instead of on the grave of somebody else's legacy. So when Chief Keef linked up with YoungBoy, for Block it was not just a music decision. It felt like a betrayal. It felt like the circle was getting tighter around their pain. It felt like the culture was slowly letting their enemies' side win. And they were not quiet about it. Members of Block and OTF both went online expressing their frustration, their anger, their disbelief that Sosa would do this. Emotions were running high. People were posting, going on live, airing out their feelings, because at the end of the day, this is personal. This has always been personal. And all of that raw, public grief and anger? Lil Tim watched every single second of it. He saw every post. He saw every comment. He saw grown men who loved King Von like a brother, expressing genuine pain over what they felt was disrespect to their fallen friend's memory. And instead of being quiet, instead of having even an ounce of respect or self-awareness, instead of understanding that he is the last person on earth who should be adding fuel to this fire, he logged onto Instagram Live. And he smiled. And he looked into that camera with zero remorse, zero hesitation, and he said, and I want you to really hear these words, he said, all that crying and shit by the fucking song, nigga. Get some King money. The internet exploded. Within minutes, Not hours, minutes. That clip was everywhere. It was on Twitter, it was on Instagram, it was on TikTok, it was on every single rap blog that covers Chicago street news. People could not believe what they were watching. Fans were shocked. Comments were pouring in by the thousands. The consensus was clear. This man had just crossed a line that even his biggest supporters could not defend. Think about what was actually said. Think about who said it. This is not just some random person with an opinion about music beef. This is the man who shot and killed King Von. This is the man whose hands changed O'Block forever. And now he is on Instagram Live, laughing at O'Block members for being emotional, telling them to get money, acting like their pain is a joke. Acting like he has not been living off the notoriety of that night ever since. Acting like his entire rap career is not built on the fact that people know his name because of King Von. That is the part that had people absolutely furious. Because the accusation, the thing that Big Mike from O'Block was saying before this clip even dropped, was that Lil Tim has been clout chasing. That he became a rapper because he killed King Von. That he uses that moment, that tragedy, to get streams, to get attention, to get features, to get relevance. And now here he is, on Instagram Live, proving every single one of those accusations correct by jumping into the Chief Keef and Youngboy drama. A drama that had nothing to do with him, just to poke O'Block one more time. Sources close to the situation told us, and this is where it gets really interesting, that before Lil Tim went live, there were already people in his circle telling him to stay out of it. People who care about him were reportedly saying, "Bro, this is not your fight. Stay off the internet. You do not need this smoke." And according to what we have been told, Lil Tim laughed it off. He literally laughed. He said something along the lines of, "What are they gonna do? What are they really gonna do to me? I am untouchable." Untouchable. That word is going to become very important as this story develops. Because the moment that clip hit the internet, O'Block was no longer just expressing grief about a music collab. Now it was something else entirely. Now it was about respect. Now it was about the fact that the man who took King Von from them was online, in real time, laughing at their pain. And if you know anything about O'Block, if you have paid any attention to how they move, how they respond, what they stand for, then you already know that what happened next was absolutely inevitable. Because O'Block does not let disrespect sit. They never have. And they were not about to start now. Big Mike was already heated before the live clip. But after that clip dropped, after those words got back to the people who were closest to King Von, after O'Block members saw it with their own eyes, it was a completely different energy. And the response that came, the fire that O'Block brought back to this situation, was something that not even the most dramatic corners of the internet were fully prepared for. So where we left off, Lil Tim's IG Live clip has gone fully viral. The internet is split. Some people are calling him bold, some people are calling him reckless, and a very large number of people are calling him something far worse. But one group of people in particular has seen that clip, processed those words, and is now moving with a very specific, very calculated, very dangerous kind of energy. O'Block. Now the first person to publicly come out guns blazing, and I mean that figuratively, this is about words and the internet, was Big Mike. If you do not know Big Mike, he is one of the most respected voices connected to O'Block. He is someone who knew King Von personally, who has been vocal about protecting Von's legacy, and who has already, weeks before this live clip, gone on record saying that Lil Tim is nothing but a clout chaser. That Tim built his entire rap career on the back of a man he took from the world. That without King Von, nobody would know Timothy Leak's name. Nobody would stream his music. Nobody would book him for anything. And Big Mike was already saying all of this before the clip dropped. So when that IG Live moment hit, when Lil Tim looked into that camera and told O'Block members to stop crying and get money, Big Mike did not just respond. Big Mike went completely off. And we have the receipts. Big Mike got on his own platform and let it all out. He said, and I am paraphrasing here, but this is very close to his actual words. He said that Lil Tim is playing a very dangerous game. That he keeps poking people who genuinely loved King Von, people who are still grieving, people who are not just going to sit back and keep watching him profit off of their pain. He said Tim came into that night in Atlanta as a soldier for Quando. He did what he did, and now he wants to be celebrated for it. He wants a rap career off of it. He wants clout off of it. And that is something that O'Block will never accept. Never. Now here is where the story gets a second layer of complexity, because it is not just Big Mike. Sources from inside the Chicago scene are telling us that multiple O'Block members had a private conversation after that live clip dropped. A conversation that was, let's say, very serious in nature. We are not going to speculate on what was said in that room. But what we can tell you is that the energy coming out of that conversation was not the energy of people who were willing to let this go quietly. And then it got even messier. Because within 24 hours of Lil Tim's live clip going viral, a second piece of information started circulating online. A screenshot. Now we have to be clear, we cannot independently verify everything about this screenshot, but what was being shared showed what appeared to be Lil Tim in a private DM conversation where he was allegedly making very specific, very disrespectful comments about King Von's family. Not just his crew. Not just his legacy in music. His actual family. When that screenshot started making the rounds, the reaction was on a completely different level. Because up until this point, even the people who disagreed with Lil Tim were mostly focused on the street politics angle, the beef between crews, the music industry drama, the clout-chasing accusations. But the moment King Von's family was brought into it, the moment it became personal on that level, fans were not just shocked. Fans were devastated. People who had stayed neutral up until this point were now firmly on one side. Comment sections were flooded. The hashtag King Von started trending again. People were reposting old King Von clips, old performances, old interviews. The entire internet was in mourning mode again, reminded all over again of what was lost, and simultaneously furious at the person they felt was responsible and was now seemingly rubbing it in. And Lil Tim? Initially? Silence. He went quiet. The Instagram live energy disappeared. The confident, smiling, get some money attitude was nowhere to be found. For a moment, it seemed like even he understood that he had pushed things too far. But that silence did not last long. Because here is the twist that nobody saw coming. Lil Tim, rather than issuing any kind of apology or stepping back from the situation, reportedly went back online. And this time, according to multiple people who were watching the stream, he doubled down. He did not just defend what he said, he escalated. He started bringing up specific names. He started talking about the night in Atlanta in a way that felt, to those watching, less like self-defense justification and more like bragging. Like he was proud. Like he wanted the world to know that he is not afraid of O'Block, not afraid of the internet, not afraid of anybody. And that is the moment, that is the exact moment, when sources tell us that someone from King Von's inner circle, someone who had been watching all of this quietly, someone who had stayed out of the public drama for a long time, picked up the phone. We are not naming names yet because the situation is still developing. But what we can tell you is that the call that was made after Lil Tim's second live session was not a casual conversation. It was described to us by someone with direct knowledge as, and these are their words, the call that changes everything. Now what does that mean exactly? What was discussed on that call? Who made it and who received it? And more importantly, what action, if any, is being planned as a result of it? We do not have all of those answers yet. But what we do know is that the energy surrounding the situation shifted dramatically after that call. People who had been posting online went quiet. People who had been quiet started posting. The dynamic completely flipped. And then, because this story refuses to stay in one lane, another player entered the picture. J Hood. O'Block J Hood, who had already gone on record months ago expressing his disgust at Lil Tim for becoming a rapper and bragging about King Von's death. J Hood resurfaced. And what he said in his latest response to the situation added an entirely new dimension to this already out-of-control story. J Hood said that Lil Tim is not just disrespecting King Von. He is disrespecting every single person who ever stood on that block. Every person who grew up in those projects. Every person who survived that era. He said that by turning King Von's death into a rap career and a social media personality, Lil Tim is doing something that goes beyond beef. He is desecrating something sacred. Those are heavy words. Sacred. And when someone uses that kind of language, when a man who has lived that life uses that word, you have to understand that the emotion behind it is real. This is not internet drama for them. This is their life. This is their brother. This is their grief. And Lil Tim is out here making it content. The question now, the question that the entire Chicago scene, the entire rap internet, and honestly a very large portion of the mainstream music world is asking, is simple. Where does this go from here? Because the fire that O'Block just brought to this situation is not dying down. We are now at the point in this story where things stop being just internet drama and start feeling like something much heavier. And I want you to pay close attention to everything I'm about to say, because the developments that have come out in the last 48 hours around this Lil Tim and O'Block situation have been nothing short of absolutely jaw-dropping. So we left off with J Hood dropping those words, desecrating something sacred, with a mystery phone call that people with direct knowledge say changed the entire energy of the situation. With Lil Tim having doubled down on a second live, bringing up specific names, showing no remorse, showing no fear. And with O'Block members who had been quiet suddenly going very still in a way that, if you know street culture at all, you know is not a good sign. Here is what happened next. Within the same week that all of this was exploding online, a video surfaced. Not an Instagram live. Not a TikTok. A raw, unedited, clearly not meant for public consumption video clip that showed what appeared to be a tense confrontation involving someone connected to Lil Tim's camp in the state of Texas. We want to be very careful here because the full details of this clip are still being disputed and verified. But what we can tell you is that the clip showed somebody having a very bad time. And the people watching it online immediately began connecting dots, because there had already been rumors, already been whispers, that O'Block had been tracking Lil Tim's movements. That they knew where he was spending time. That Texas was specifically mentioned in certain conversations. Now again, we are not reporting this as confirmed fact. We are reporting it as what is circulating, what sources close to the situation are suggesting, and what the internet is currently going absolutely crazy over. Because the timing of that clip, right in the middle of this explosive beef, felt like anything but a coincidence to the people watching. And Lil Tim's response to this clip circulating? Sources say he went completely dark. No posts. No lives. No activity on any platform for a period of time that, for a man who had been online almost every single day, was very noticeable. Very telling. His people, meanwhile, were scrambling. We are told, again through sources close to the situation, that members of his inner circle were having serious conversations about his safety, about his social media presence, about whether the level of provocation he had been engaging in was worth what was potentially coming back at him. One source told us specifically that someone in his camp sat him down and said, and I quote, "You are playing checkers with people who are playing a completely different game." Now let us shift focus for a moment, because while all of this is happening in the streets and on the internet, the music industry side of this story is developing in its own fascinating and troubling way. Lil Tim, as we mentioned, has been trying to build a rap career. He has been putting out music. He had reportedly been in talks with certain labels, nothing confirmed publicly, but conversations were apparently happening. And when this IG Live clip went viral and O'Block came out with the force that they did, those conversations, those talks, sources in the industry are telling us that they went very cold, very fast. Because here is the reality of the music business in 2025. Labels are watching. Managers are watching. Brands are watching. And nobody wants to be associated with someone who is this publicly, this consistently, this unapologetically disrespectful in a situation that involves real street politics and real, documented tragedy. The clout-chasing accusations from Big Mike hit different when you look at the music career angle, because if the entire foundation of your brand is built on a moment that devastated an entire community, and then you go online and laugh at that community's pain, what exactly are you selling? What is the product? And more importantly, who is buying it? Streams on Lil Tim's music actually spiked in the immediate aftermath of the viral clip. That is the dark, uncomfortable reality of how internet controversy works. But sources inside the streaming world say that the spike was almost entirely driven by people who went to his page to leave negative comments and see what the fuss was about, not genuine fans. The actual fan retention numbers, we are told, were not good. People were not sticking around. They were satisfying their curiosity and leaving. Meanwhile, King Von's music saw a completely different kind of response. Old albums were being revisited. Playlists were being made. Tribute posts were everywhere. The contrast was impossible to ignore. One artist's legacy growing stronger even in death, another artist's reputation crumbling in real time even while he is still alive. Now here is the final twist in this story, and this is the one that has the internet truly divided. Late last night, after everything we just described, after the dark period of silence, after the conversation with his inner circle, after the industry doors started closing, Lil Tim posted something on his Instagram. Not a video. Not a live. Just a single photo with a caption. And the caption, depending on how you read it, was either a very subtle, very veiled almost apology, or it was another layer of trolling so sophisticated that people could not even agree on what they were looking at. The post showed him in a studio, working, headphones on, and the caption simply read, "Bigger picture." That is it. 2 words. Bigger picture. And the internet absolutely lost its mind trying to decode it. Was he acknowledging that the drama had gotten too big and he needed to refocus? Was he subtly communicating to a block that he is moving forward and they should too? Was he hinting at a music project inspired by all of this controversy? Or was he, as some of the more suspicious commenters suggested, sending some kind of coded message that had nothing to do with music at all? Block members, for their part, did not engage with the post directly, but several of them posted their own content within hours. Throwback videos of King Von, old block footage, pictures from better times. No captions directed at Lil Tim. No direct responses. Just quiet, deliberate, collective memory. And in the culture, that kind of silent, unified tribute after a moment of conflict communicates something very specific. It communicates that this is not over, that there is no bigger picture here, that the picture is exactly as small and as painful and as permanent as it has always been, and that no Instagram post, no rap career, no viral moment is ever going to change what happened on that night in Atlanta. And that right there is where the story currently stands. 2 words from Lil Tim. Silence from O'Block that speaks louder than any live ever could. An industry holding its breath. And a fanbase, King Von's fanbase, that is not going anywhere, not forgetting anything, and not letting this die. The question is not whether this is over. It is not. The question is what form the next chapter takes. And we will be here when it does. Alright y'all, that is where this story stands right now. And honestly, I do not think we are even halfway through this thing. Because what started as a music beef over Chief Keef and NBA Youngboy collab has spiraled into something that touches grief, legacy, street politics, the music industry, and the very complicated question of what happens when someone builds a career on someone else's tragedy. Lil Tim lit a match. O'Block held the fire. And the internet is sitting right in the middle of it, all watching every single second. Here is what I want to know from you. And I genuinely want your opinion in the comments, because this is a conversation the culture needs to have. Do you think Lil Tim crossed a line that cannot be uncrossed? Or do you think people need to separate the music from the street politics and let the man build his career? Because those are 2 completely valid and completely opposing perspectives, and both of them have real arguments behind them. Do you think O'Block's response was justified? Do you think Big Mike said exactly what needed to be said? Or do you think continuing to engage with Lil Tim publicly is only giving him more of the attention he is clearly chasing? And what about that bigger picture post? What do you think he meant by that? Drop your theory in the comments right now because I genuinely want to read every single one. If you are new here, and with a video this big I know there are a lot of new faces, hit that subscribe button right now. We cover the stories that actually matter, the ones with real context and real depth, not just the surface level drama. Like this video. Share it with somebody who needs to see this story. And stay locked in, because this one is far from over. We will see you in the next one. Fire.